Forced leadership. Yes, you heard me right. Forced leadership is something that I have observed in organizations for a very long time. And it's not anything new. The time I started working about 17 years back, it existed then. And the sad part is that it still exists and it's a very prominent part of organizations even today. What do I mean when I say forced leadership? An employee joins an organization and grows in that organization for a while. Learns things, performs well, becomes an excellent performer, and there comes a time when there is no other way for an employee to grow than take up a leadership role. If he or she wants to actually grow up in the hierarchy, wants to earn more compensation, the only way to do that is to take up a leadership role. Now there are two ways to look at it. One, an excellent performer who does not want to take up a leadership role but is very happy and enthusiastic to contribute as an individual contributor is forced to take up a leadership role if he or she wants to grow in the organizations because there is no other option available. Or the other way around, there is an employee who is ready to take up a leadership role but does not understand leadership, has never been groomed, never been trained, never been mentored on leadership as a skill set, leadership as a very different ball game altogether. In both these cases, leadership fails. An employee who is forced to take up leadership because that is the only way to grow fails because he is not in that game. He or she has taken up that role because they wanted to grow in the organization and there was no other option available. And the other way around, an employee who takes up the leadership role willingly but has never been trained or groomed to be one also fails because he or she does not know what to do there. I remember a very famous thing that Alexander had said. Alexander said that I do not fear an army of lions who is led by a sheep, but I fear an army of sheep who is led by a lion. Now in both these cases that I mentioned earlier, we are actually putting sheeps to lead an army of lions, one sheep who does not want to lead and the other sheep who does not know how to lead. And both ways, people in the organization suffer who are reporting to them because they do not have the right manager. So good talent leaves your organization. These individual contributors who are doing extremely well for you as their roles also leave your organizations because how long can they suffer being a leader who is not performing well in the leadership role? And end of the day, the business suffers. Your top line suffers, your bottom line suffers. So understand this, leadership is not just to be given away to someone as an opportunity to grow. The person needs to understand what leadership is. The person needs to be groomed to become a leader. The person needs to be mentored through different levels to take up the responsibility of leading other people, being responsible for their behaviors, being responsible for their results, being responsible for their growth. That is leadership. And someone who does not want to take that should not be thrown away of the organization or not given any other opportunities. We should think about creating more individual contributor roles in the organization. Maybe you can upskill them, reskill them, help them in a way where they can grow laterally in the organization, maybe move to a different function. But somebody who's been loyal to you for a long time, somebody who's been performing with you for a very long time, don't just lose out on them or not give them an option. Either they quit or they take up the leadership role. It might look like a benefit in the short term, but it's actually causing a long-term impact and a very big disastrous impact. So remember, leadership is not just a role to be given to anybody and everybody. People who want it, groom them, get them ready to take it. And people who do not want it, do not force them into it. Create individual contributor roles and let people earn the right to become a leader. Don't force them into it.